Unpopular opinion, a lot of people are going to not like this, but if you think ICE are the villains, you lack accountability. Because how on earth do you knowingly make a decision to break a law by entering a country illegally and then get mad and victimize yourself when you are caught and forced to face the repercussions? If people were not breaking the law in the first place, ICE would have no business doing anything because they wouldn't have anyone to apprehend or detain at all. Before you're like, oh, well, they're going to raid schools. I don't agree with that. Me personally, I don't agree with that. However, parents have to be accountable for the decisions that they made and the risks that they chose to take. All of the heat is on the people who are administering the repercussions, and none of the heat is on the people who broke the law in the first place. And people are like, oh, well, I'm a tax-paying citizen, and I this, and I that. Okay, and like, who made up the law that because you're a tax-paying citizen, you are exempt from facing repercussions of breaking the law? Where does it say that? Where does it say that? You made that up and thought that it would stick? Just because you don't think that you should be held to the same standard as everyone else because of what you're doing? Like, you made that up in your head. Like, nobody said that.
And that actually speaks to a lot of the points that these politicians are using. Like Jasmine Crockett, she thinks that just because they obey the law financially when it comes to what comes out of their paycheck, and it actually contributes to the infrastructure and the things that we pay taxes for, that absolves you from whatever it is that you did to break the law to get here in the first place. And it's not true. The one thing, because this woman is absolutely cooking. You know, I always like to give credit to the content creator, so that link is going to be down in the description to go back to her if you want to check her out. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link is in the description. Also, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. That link will be in the description. And then also make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel and hit a like for the algorithm, because I am absolutely positively never missing when it comes to add value into your lives. But the one thing that I don't agree with that she said is that she doesn't agree with them going into schools to get people, obviously, that they have to deal with as far as deportation is concerned. 100% I do. You cannot take safe haven in schools. You cannot take safe haven in shelters. In no country can you do something that you're not supposed to do and be able to take safe haven anywhere in that country at any time. And we, a lot of times, use our moral compass, or what we think is our moral compass, but for a lot of us, it's actually given to us to justify allowing for people to continue to be over here illegally. And you cannot break the law. If you broke the law in any other capacity, if you committed a felony, if you committed a misdemeanor, they have the ability and the right to go and arrest you, and that is for American citizens. Now, imagine somebody coming over here illegally, living here, taking up taxpayer resources, and also potentially is committing other crimes to where they then get a slap on the wrist and get an easier route because they do safe catch and release. And not to mention places like Illinois got the Safety Act and all of these places. Imagine the fact that a person is completely undocumented and you don't even know what their background is. You don't know their criminal history. You don't know anything about them, but they're able to take safe haven somewhere, and we're supposed to abide by some kind of moral high standard to justify you being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. It sounds crazy. It 100% sounds crazy. It's insane. But, you know, again, I don't agree with it. I know that they're using it. And again, you can't let people bend the law after they've broken the law. You know, it's almost like it's the Batman dilemma. Like Batman can't really do, or they're trying to hold Batman to a higher standard because they're calling him a vigilante, but they're not actually going after the criminals. We'll get some more into that in a minute. Let her cook.
That was the case when you came here. Regardless, like, who thinks it's right or wrong, like, it's very black and white. If that was something that you didn't agree with, then you had the choice to not chose what you chose before you came. You knew that that was not the law, and you still decided to come. The only thing was you thought that you were never going to get caught. You thought that you were never going to have to go back. You thought that you were just going to break the law, come here, and ride off into the sunset. And for a lot of people, cool, that's the case. But when you get caught, you have to know that you chose this, and these are consequences of your action. There has to be some level of accountability. If it was a calculated risk that you felt was worth the risk because you felt like you needed to be here that badly, then okay, fine. But it was still a risk nonetheless. And risks mean that there is a chance that it doesn't go your way. It's okay to be sad that it didn't work out your way. I mean, like, we're all human. It's okay to empathize with people that it didn't work out or they have to get deported. But the thing is, you can't just victimize them. We make choices. We have all made choices. And regardless of who deserves to be here, who does, like, those are all opinion based. We have to know that when we are making these choices, your opinion is not going to hold up in a court of law. Your opinion is not going to get you out of anything. Like, you know what you're getting into, you know the risks, you know what you're signing up for and what you're not. And so when you get caught, you can't cry victim because of your opinion. It doesn't work like that. So there has to be accountability for people who made a decision and is ultimately the only reason that they are in a shitty spot to begin with, because of the decision that they chose to make.
And I'll do you one better. We then don't hold the parents accountable for the situation that they put their children in, and that their children is not legally here, and now their children has to get deported. I was looking at a story on the news where a woman from Liberia basically brought her child here, and eventually he committed a crime at 16 or something like that. Ultimately, I think he got his life together, but the fact of the matter is that he was still here illegally, and he had to get deported. And now his deportation, his ability to become a legal citizen is also hampered by the fact that he has a felony on his record, or he had a felony on his record, or something like that. But I know the legal system can get complicated, but the rules are there for a reason. If you had never come over here in the first place, because I always like to say, why do we have a lower standard than the places that, um, you know, has a lower quality of living? Why do we then allow for anybody to take advantage of taxpayer citizens when we should be upholding the law? And now, thank God that Trump he turned the CBP One app into the CBP Home app to allow for people to self-deport in case they ever wanted to come back to the United States of America or come in here the right way. Then obviously, you won't have to worry about whether or not you'll get denied into the United States of America, because you still have the ability to come back legally. And it's a spit in the face for the people that did do it legally, and then you just circumvent the system and you skip the line and you think that you're still supposed to get on the ride. That's not how it works. But now we've made the enemy the people that are enforcing the law, and the law has been on the books for a reason. We made them the enemy, and we're acting like they're the bad guys, when in reality the bad guys was not only the people that was crossing over to the border, but the people that opened up the border to get them deported in the first place, which was the Biden administration. How come nobody? Because, and again, I know that people are treasonous. I know that people just want to see the world burn, and so they're going to say the most negative thing and the most hateful thing towards the Trump administration. But how come we seen zero, and I mean zero smoke? This is how you know these raging liberals are crazy. How come we seen zero accountability and zero smoke for the Biden administration, and nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody on the liberal side was saying anything, protesting? And regularly, if you ask them, hey, what about migration into this country? What do you think about that? They avoided the question like the plague. They were nowhere to be found. They were not advocating. You didn't see all of this outcry on the internet. All you seen was people like me since 2021 having a conversation to try to figure out why they were suing Texas to open up their borders, and then why was all of these illegal migrants coming into these sanctuary cities and receiving safe haven and protection. As a matter of fact, they were receiving so much love and so much protection. They got more protection than the regular residents that was paying taxes. And then they took billions and billions of dollars, and then the cartel benefited from it. And then you had missing children, hundreds of thousands of missing children that we now have to clean up the mess. We now have to find, and we got to figure out, how to get the things done that's supposed to be done. And it's stupid. It's absolutely dumb and it's stupid. But again, I think that a lot of these people hate this country, and, they'd rather advocate for people outside of the country than the people that live here, even if it costs you everything and it costs your children their future. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Again, I always like to link back to the content creator, so that link will be in the description. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.